Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, September 3rd. I don't always count that well. Hey, I'm just deciding to do this in the garden this morning. Enjoy a little outside time. It's not very sunny, but that's okay. You know, today I have an interesting topic. But before I tell you like the theme of it, you know, I was talking to somebody yesterday and she was talking about a friend of hers who is a very successful young woman and has a really distinct career path. And she said, you know, the only problem that my friend faces is that she's a very teeny tiny petite woman. And so, you know, especially in her career, she's often, you know, up against these people that look, you know, like bigger, that maybe they look different, they have a different professional standard. And she goes, so my friend struggles with this, but then, you know, after a while, she commands a room. She gets people to forget about the fact she's teeny, teeny, tiny. And I thought about how our first impressions, how do they really affect people? And what do we pay attention to? What is really important? So I thought I'd get, you know, a little dressed up for you today, because having blue hair is clearly not enough of a reason to stand out. I thought I might as well bring out my tiara and my fancy earrings this morning so that we could talk about, is there a point in time that any of us command a room just because of who we are and what we have to say, what we've proven of ourselves, or are people still distracted by other things about us? You know, it's amazing to think about first impressions. In fact, I'm currently reading a book that I'm not going to give away all of it yet, because it's going to be the very first book that we have in our Book of the Month Club that we're going to launch in October. But well, I'll give a little bit of it away. But the whole theme is about how we dress and how we hold ourselves and what kind of impression that we give. And actually, you know, although we've been taught that, you know, the first 3 seconds gives the impression, that it's actually even before then. It's, you know, that split second when you see somebody walk in and how they hold themselves. And, you know, it's not just what they say, it's how they say it, which is not even just about the verbiage or the hand gestures. It's about what everything else tells in the story. Now, I wore a t-shirt this morning because I was a little casual, but I thought we'd have the contrast of something a little bit fancier, just to see whether or not at some point in time you still listen to me and forget about the fact that I've got all this other stuff going on. And maybe you will, maybe you won't, because I keep pointing it out, but there's a reason. So we were talking about, with this friend of mine, we were talking about how you stand out. And it's actually one of my cornerstones, and it's a part of the Shock Your Potential whole strategy, is the S stands for stand out. How do you stand out, and how do you want to stand out? And are you leaving the impression that you want to? Whether it's in that first, you know, fraction of a second or the first 30 seconds, what is it? So I decided in my trusty little notebook to put down a couple thoughts for you. So first of all, when I talk to people about standing out, the first thing I always say is, ask yourself this question. When you're not in the room, what do people say about you behind your back? And I don't mean the bad gossip or when people are being snotty, but what kind of words do people use to describe you? You know, what do they say about you? How are they talking about you? And if you don't know, then you have a problem. You're not controlling the conversation. And if you do know, does it align with exactly what you'd want them to say about you? And if it doesn't, then it's time for you to get very clear. What do you want to be known for? How do you want to be described? And how does that translate into how you command a room or a phone call or a Zoom call? How do you use those opportunities to make sure you are conveying the message that you want to convey? So first of all, that once you are clear, you got to make sure that it is authentic, that it really is who you are and what you want to say. And I think, you know, sometimes I would struggle going, gosh, you know, I was in very, very high-level professional positions in many points in my career, but I always thought that maybe those came along with a certain set of expectations to operate a certain way, to be very serious, to only be that person that was the hardline leader or employee even. And it was exhausting. So one day I was like, I can still talk about really serious stuff, but I can still do it being me and having an authentic self. So having fun while I do it. So when you're clear about what you want and you are certain that it aligns with who you are and your authentic self, the next question is, what do you stand for? What is important to you? And this whole last 6 months or so prepping to have this app launched, I was really spending a lot of time saying, why this app? Why do I want to do this? And it's really about the fact that I want people to be able to access personal and professional development training at any point in time and have it be something that means something to them, that they feel like reaches to them, that talks to them. And when people then convey that back to me and say, hey, I love what you wrote, or I love that message, or I watched that one video, or I listened to that one podcast, it really resonated with me, it tells me, okay, I am aligned with my authentic self and my values and my vision, and it's coming through that way. So the next thing to think about is, what do you want to be known for, and how do you know that you are known for that? And it's really about asking questions. It's like taking a poll. It's saying, hey, I'm going to take 10 people that I really value their opinion, and I'm going to ask them, what words would you use to describe me? If somebody asked you about me because I was going to connect you, what would you say about me? And asking them to be very clear and honest with you so you can see whether or not what you want to resonate is actually being heard by other people. And finally, knowing that whatever your authentic self is, what you want to be known for, what you want to stand for, to be really, really clear that becomes your brand. Sometimes we talk about brands as if it's something that, you put on a package, or it's the swoosh on, your shoes. But a brand are all those little pieces about what make up you. Not just a company, not just a slogan, but a brand is about what you stand for. And it's about what you believe in. And aligning that to your most authentic self is one of the best things that you can do for your career. It's one of the best things you can do for your psyche. So let me ask you this. Was there a point in time when I talked today that you forgot that I was wearing a tiara and had fancy earrings on? Or that you forgot that I had blue hair and you just listened to the message because there's something that resonated with you? Because if so, then I've done my job. And no matter how small your stature or what your position, you can still stand out. You can capture attention, and you can still do it being authentic and have people listen to the real you. Hope you guys have a great day today.